Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 406 Boys.
Today we are reviewing the new horror film Shelby Oaks, directed by Chris Stuckmann. Yes, the movie review YouTuber who has been reviewing movies for over a decade now.
This is his first directorial debut, and we were honestly going in kind of curious to see how it turns out. And honestly, I feel like we came out kind of impressed.
Yeah, it's definitely not a perfect movie, but let's get into it.
So the plot centers around a girl named Mia, whose sister Riley was the lead investigator of a paranormal group with the name Paranormal Paranoids.
12 years ago, they disappeared while investigating a town known as Shelby Oaks, a town with a dark history behind it, and Mia's been haunted by that ever since the disappearance.
Now, years later, new clues and brand new evidence has started to resurface. And Mia starts digging into actually what happened, which leads her down a path of supernatural stuff tied back to their childhood.
It's a part psychological story, and a mystery, and an emotional journey. And that combination makes it more than just your typical ghost story.
Right away, I honestly liked how the movie started off. It kind of started off like a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
It started off with interviews with his sister Mia, and it kind of had a sort of realism that kind of hooks you more into the story.
Right away, I honestly like the documentary aspect where it not only shows the history of this YouTube channel, but also how people were influenced during the rise of the internet, along with the aftermath after the disappearance.
I would tend to agree, and I really like the fact that the interviews are there to kind of hook you and keep you for the rest of the movie. Again, the documentary setup really grounds everything, and it makes everything, to me, honestly, more believable. And I think that's what really sets up the groundbreaking stuff of the rest of the story.
It's also a really smart move because it kind of draws you in toward the supernatural stuff, and you start to grow to care for these people, so when the scares start to happen, they're just more impactful.
I would agree, and then you start to really wonder what actually happened to Riley. If there's one thing this movie absolutely nails, it's the atmosphere.
Absolutely.
The tone is dark, heavy, and very unsettling.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I felt a very dark sense throughout the entire film.
Oh, I agree. I mean, there's this constant feeling that something is always off. Like, even in the quiet moments, it's not flashy, it's not loud like any of those Blumhouse type movies where they feel like they need to wow you, essentially. It just kind of seeps in slowly as it goes on.
You can tell Stuckmann put a lot of work into his lighting and all the cinematic stuff into this movie. It all feels gritty and like weird, but it all keeps the realism grounded and well when things get like really weird.
Oh yeah, it definitely captures that found footage.
It really does.
Aesthetic,
yeah.
Without actually being a found footage.
And I think that's the reason. That's the one thing that Stuckmann really nailed about this movie was the dark atmosphere of this movie.
Now let's talk about the entity in this, or the demon, or whatever you want to call it.
Because I feel like this was a big part of the movie.
Yeah, there is one, and I think it's actually done pretty well.
Comparatively to other movies where they show the demon way too much and it ends up being really bad.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you barely see it. And if I remember correctly, there are multiple moments throughout the movie where it's just in the background.
Yeah.
Where when you notice it, you notice it.
What's good about this movie, they actually show the demon, but I feel like they do it to a point where they don't overdo it. And what's cool about it is it's not CGI. Everything you see in this movie is practical effects. And from the demon to the hellhounds, everything you see in this movie is practical effects, which just makes it that much better.
Along with trained dogs that were used.
And I feel like Chris Stuckmann goes above and beyond for this movie, and that's why I have to give him his respect on this movie, because for this being such a passion project for him, I feel like him using practical effects just makes it so that much better.
Yeah, it's kind of the practical effects are kind of they're kind of like an old school way, in a good way, of course. Like something that came from a 1980s possession type movie, but just modernized.
And can we just for a second please talk about the sound design of this movie? Like some of those moments, and I know like people will talk about jump scares in other movies like Annabelle and The Conjuring. Those are good jump scares. Like jump scares are jump scares. You'll usually jump at them. But I feel like the jump scares in this movie were just like I was waiting for them to happen. I was like at the edge of my seat and then they happened and then I'm like, yes, I knew they were coming, but when they happened, there were some jump scares where I was like there was one jump scare with the hellhound where I was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, I know
and
exactly what you're talking about.
The sound design of this movie had you so nervous where it's like, it was just so well done that I have to give props to him for that too. Now let's be real. Shelby Oaks isn't trying to make you jump every 5 seconds. It's more of a slow burn, like horror movie. It's trying to make you anticipate what's happening.
And that makes sense because Chris Stuckmann has always hated like the fake jump scares where it's like the it's just your friend.
Yeah.
Because that makes the ultimate scare is cheap.
Exactly.
And like a haunted hayride.
Yep.
In fact, some of the scares were pretty subtle and psychological and just downright unnerving, like to the point where we kind of both froze a little in our seats.
I was really impressed how Stuckmann really understands how to use. I feel like as a movie reviewer, he's reviewed hundreds, if not thousands, of movies. He understands how to use silence and pacing. And he's learned how to not master it quite yet, but he knows how to do it well enough that the silence and pacing of this movie actually was pretty well done.
Because at the end of the day, it's not about shock value. It's just about building dread, which is where I think the film really shines the most.
And the pacing of this movie is spaced out enough that it hits you when you least expect it. Before we move on, I'd like to address anybody out there that had their doubts about Chris Stuckmann. Anybody that talked their shit about Chris Stuckmann. That said Chris Stuckmann shouldn't direct a movie because of things that happened at the film festival that he was a part of, because the movie wasn't fully finished when he released it. I'd like to say, where are those people now and what do they think? Because his movie, as of last time I checked, had a 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. And it is, by the way, certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. So I'd like to say, where are those people now, and that critics are absolutely loving this movie right now.
Yeah.
And that I think that it was a good movie. So
yeah, I think ultimately many had their doubts just because he's not reviewing movies in a negative way, which makes sense because he wants to build up filmmakers rather than tearing them down.
I think that people tearing him down for not saying he wants to tear other films down is borderline bullshit. And I don't want to hear it from anybody I don't want to hear any Chris Stuckmann slander after this film because he has proven that he can be a successful filmmaker. So if you have anything to say in the comments or whatever on our video, go ahead, but I'm not going to take any Chris Stuckmann slander anymore.
Because I completely understand if the movie wasn't for you or if you didn't like the movie. That's fine. But just making up things is another thing.
Now, carrying on with the review.
The acting across the board was really, really solid, especially with the lead protagonist. And this was a movie with Keith David in the film.
Yep.
Which he was good in his one part that he was in.
Yeah.
But they all seemed authentic and added that borderland realism on it.
I have to talk about the lead actress playing Mia.
Oh, she was great.
I feel like I wouldn't say necessarily she carried the movie, but she almost, I would say, carried the movie. But the supporting roles in this movie were really good, but Mia, man, she did so well in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like the of course you had the people calling her crazy, and then at the very end you had the husband coming in and trying to console her like, "Oh, you're not crazy anymore," but then wasn't having that, and oh my gosh, and
Mm-hmm.
then the acting in it was actually pretty solid.
And yeah, about the supporting cast, they really didn't feel fake either. Everyone acted just like regular
I would
people,
agree.
just caught in something that they just can't explain.
Mm-hmm.
And like the police chief, prison
Yep.
warden, and old lady character, pretty much everyone was good. There was no amateur phoned in performances there.
I would agree. I feel like the emotional angle of the film that they went with helps you go with the flow instead of just waiting for the next scare, if you know what I mean. So, as a directorial debut, this is a big step for Chris Stuckmann, and honestly, he nailed it. So, with him obviously reviewing horror for like years, what would you say was him being successful in making this film?
I feel that he succeeded in regard to him studying how films work. Like, it seems like he, in a way, almost sounds like he taught himself in a way, and just built by experience, because he made a bunch of short films and then just improved on every mistake that he went.
It seems like over the years he was just reviewing movies, and then as he reviewed movies, he was doing homework
Mm-hmm.
and took that and made his own movie, which turned out to be good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
The way he uses framing, shadows, all of that really tells me he has an eye for suspense and horror, and I hope to see another horror project from him in the future.
Oh yeah, definitely. I heard he wanted to direct a Metroid movie.
That would be really cool. I'd love some to see. I think with the success of this movie so far, I think we'll see another Chris Stuckman directed film in the future.
Because it's clear that he respects the horror genre. He's not trying to reinvent the wheel, but he's honoring what makes it great in the first place. Beyond the scares, I think there is definitely a personal story behind it, as it's about grief, guilt, and trauma, which completely makes sense because it's been theorized that he wrote the movie based on the fact that when he was a part of the Jehovah's Witness faith, that he was told to not talk to his sister, and he didn't for about 20 years or so until he left the organization and they reconnected. And I think that level of loss sort of
maybe inspired him.
Inspired him, yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Again, going based off of what you said, Mia's journey is about facing the past. Her sister's disappearance is also a big piece of it, and I feel like her facing her past and her finding her sister is a big piece of the movie and why it might be successful. And again, those big like suspense aspects and the dark theme behind the movie is why the movie might be why I like it so much.
The supernatural stuff works because it really ties into the emotional truth. It's not random, it's symbolic, if it makes any sense. That it gives the film a surprising amount of depth to it.
Realistically, you come for horror, but you stay because you care for what's actually happening to Mia, and you care to kind of see the end result of Mia's journey through this movie.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I think caring for the characters is what you're supposed to do.
And if you see this movie, stay to the end because you need to see the ending to this movie.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, it's out in theaters. I don't know if it'll be in your area, but if you have it in a theater near you or at your theater, please go see it because you need to see the ending of this movie. Please go see it. Now, don't go into Shelby Oaks expecting something completely groundbreaking. It's not trying to reinvent horror. It's just not trying to do that. And that's fine.
Because I always live under the philosophy that hype kills a movie. Exactly what I'm thinking is don't go into it expecting The Exorcist, because It's just a simple horror film with a beginning, middle, and end, and it just doesn't try to be anything more than that. It's just a simple personal story that Chris Stuckmann just wanted to make. That's it. If you go if you go into at least middle expectation, you'll think that it's a decent film. But if you expect like, oh, it's going to be a mind-bending Mike Flanagan film that's way above here, you will be sorely disappointed. Yeah. Just do not go with high expectations. That's all I'm saying.
It's got a great atmosphere, well-executed practical effects, very believable performances, great directing. I don't know what else you could do with this movie.
Because for a first-time director, this was a huge love letter, not only to the horror community, but also to film in general, and is a promising start to Chris Stuckmann's filmmaking career.
And realistically, when was the last time we got a really, really good found footage film? Like a decently really good one.
Yeah, decent.
You know what I mean?
I would say probably not many. I mean, you have passable ones like the VHS ones, which are fine.
And those are okay, but like theatrically released ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So I think this is a huge win for Chris Stuckmann.
Oh, definitely.
And I think he should be very proud. And again, to those people that are just hating on Chris Stuckmann because he made it and you guys didn't, that's your problem and not his.
Yeah, because ultimately it is largely about jealousy.
So, that's our review of Shelby Oaks.
We definitely recommend checking it out. It's a slow burn, but it is actually pretty rewarding once you get down to it. And it's pretty a grounded documentary-style storytelling.
Let us know what you thought. Did it scare you or did it not live up to the hype? Mm-hmm. Drop a comment below.
But please be respectful.
Yeah, please be respectful. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the 406 Boys. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay spooky.